So this video is for Snedmeister. This is in response to your video about reading, and when you read something, are you sounding the words out is how I thought of it. Like you actually hear your voice reading words as you're reading through a paper or a book. And you had asked if that's how everybody else does it, or specifically people who don't do it that way. And saw a response from Reward Audacity and figured I'd chime in, because there's certain terms we like to use in the sewing circle. We chime in, we boil down, we throw our hats in the ring. I love it. So, few things. I remember, for some whatever reason, I remember the book, and I distinctly remember the moment as I was reading that I went from looking at words and knowing words to the book actually painting a visual image in my mind. The book was A Wrinkle in Time, and I was being required to read it for school. I'm going to guess it was the 6th grade, which SNED for us, that would be, so we have kindergarten when you're 5 years old, 1st grade at 6, 2nd grade at 7, 3rd grade at 8, 4th, 9, 5, 10, 6, 11. So I would have been 10, 11 years old, I'm thinking, when it happened. And it was like a shock, and I couldn't put the book down when this world opened up to me. I think when I was little, I can't remember back all that far, but I don't know if when my mom was reading me a story or if my dad was reading me a story, I imagined the castle or whatever. I think I just liked their voice and the words. So I can definitely do the read and have those visual image, but like I said, it was like a shock. Boom. Opened it up. It was amazing. I was so excited. I didn't know how to describe it to anyone, though. Other part, though, reading without doing that visualization. Here's where I'm different. I do that too. Do it all the time, believe it or not. In my line of work, in the automotive business, I do technical reading all the time. And in technical reading, how would you say the alternator on a car, the component that recharges the battery, if I tell you the alternator on a car has to charge a battery at voltages greater than 12.5 volts, optimal would be, say, 13.5. Now, did what I just say paint a mental image for you? You know, maybe you can imagine opening up a hood, or bonnet, as you guys would say, over there across the pond. and maybe you picture the little cylindrical device that has the vents in it. Maybe you picture the belt turning it around. But then, how do you visualize that 13.5 volts? Are you imagining electrons moving through the wires? Or are you imagining the neutrons moving out of the way in the other direction? What are you doing? So there are many, many cases where at work I'm not making a mental picture. There are data sets that are grouped in with each other, and I'm just using the alternator as a simplistic example, but it goes out from there. You know, when we're talking about 5-volt low references and looking at a computer data layout, whether something's a pull-down sensor or a pull-up sensor. And I'm not trying to say this stuff to sound like, oh, whiz bang, listen to me. I'm just trying to say and give examples where I'm not visualizing a picture. It's almost like moving puzzle pieces around. And you can assign whatever words you want to those puzzle pieces, and the right words have to match up to the puzzle pieces, if that at all makes sense. So that is the difference of me seeing it. And kind of, because of work and the technical reading and even the technical writing, I can turn it on and off. In my role, I need to somehow take the technical reading and the technical writing when one of my mechanics talks about the alternator's bad and why, and sometimes bridge the gap of painting that mental image, because that's the way that you can really digest something. You know, a little bit of a metaphor, if you will. Hope this was cool to listen to and wasn't a waste of time or nothing, but great seeing the vids, and catch y'all later.